So full disclosure, LinkedIn hates automation. They don't like any of it. ClickedIn operates and acts like an artificial human. It works during business hours from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. your time. It actually models and uses a private VPN that's based on and looks like your IP address, and it doesn't do anything that LinkedIn doesn't allow. In fact, it's 15% less than what's allowed on the platform. So it's impossible to detect. It doesn't do anything wrong, and it acts like a real human, except it always shows up and behaves. So it does the searching, the connecting, and then when someone accepts your connection, it connects either to Zapier, Salesforce, or HubSpot, or you can export the entire list as a CSV or Facebook audience. But in my case, I use Zapier because it's instantaneous, and because the connection happens the moment or within a couple minutes after they accept the connection. Imagine getting a hyper-personalized email. That's actually what makes this whole thing work, is the hyper-personalization and the speed.
I already know I want to work with you. How do we start working together? Imagine, perfect fit, qualified prospects ready to invest who say this, and I've been looking for someone just like you. Sounds too good to be true? What if you had an artificial intelligence powered employee who consistently found 20 to 40 right fit leads per day, introduced you and your business in a way that was brand representative, made you look and feel good, captured their attention with a hyper personalized email that got them intrigued enough to respond in minutes, inspired them to want to continue a sales conversation without qualifying consistent back and forth or the frustrations you and your sales team deal with daily. This is lead porn, hyper-personalized marketing that generates 20 to 40 leads per day on LinkedIn on autopilot with Mike Koenigs. Mike Koenigs built this system to solve his #1 challenge of cost-effectively finding leads, qualifying them, automating the process of connecting and messaging so they were ready to enroll in his superpower accelerator high-ticket $35,000 to $250,000 experience. It's the same system Mike and his team created for his free Zone Frontier project with Dan Sullivan from Strategic Coach to produce leads and automate the sales and marketing process for their 12-person sales team. Let's give it up for the Superpower Accelerator, Mr. Mike Koenigs.
Hey! Thanks. Right. Appreciate that, Paul. All right, Joe and Paul. I was looking at Paul while I was saying that. But yes. If you heard the whole intro, you got the spiel. I called this lead porn simply to rock your world, Joe. But what I'm going to share with you is a series of what I think are remarkable tools that are available now. They're super cheap, and trying to make all these things work together is always the artistry. So I'm going to share my screen and operate within our time. So first of all, Joe said it, but this is the equivalent to me of I love you in business language, which is I've been looking for someone just like you. How do we start working together? And to me, that is always our big goal from a business perspective. And what I'm going to share with you right now is where I got 235 new right fit targeted leads at no cost aside from setup and 3 SaaS subscriptions. So if you are right now looking at this, just let me know in chat. If you could get 235 new right fit targeted leads at no cost and have an automation doing it for you, would you like that? And this is actually a screen capture that I just grabbed last night. Okay, Dino's saying yes. Seeing some more, Richard Robbins. These are all real live leads that include the name, business name, and also their email address. And it also includes their LinkedIn account. Now imagine if you got something that looked like this. Take a look at the screen and it would say coffee, your first name. If your name was Tracy, hi, you and I just connected on LinkedIn. The moment you accepted a connection, I thought I'd reach out to offer you a virtual cup of coffee. So that's Tracy, okay? And then next to it, my name. There's Norman. Norman's on there. Maybe your name's Norman. Well, maybe it is Roger. And then the message says, drink up, don't worry, you're not in a database or mailing system. So when you reply, But basically, I'm offering something valuable along with an invitation that really explains who I am and what I do. And yes, Paul, that is a lot of coffee. So the whole idea here behind this is the strategy I'm showing you has been responsible bringing in $250,000 in new business, but there's an estimated $600,000 in annual upgrades just from the techniques I'm showing you. So if you're wondering why is this important to you, first of all, I think you, like me, need new leads that are highly qualified and ready to buy. Yes. LinkedIn has over 500 million up-to-date B2B leads that can be targeted and harvested. And it's, in my experience, here's the biggest challenge. It is hard as hell to find good people who consistently produce qualified leads and also do messaging that works. The real reason why most marketing fails, in my experience, is really because the messaging sucks. It's sort of like, how do you get introduced in a way that elevates you and communicates your story to your right fit audience where they have that moment of, I want you. I've been looking for someone just like you, and I already know I want to work with you. And that's really what this is like. And if you're like me and you're on LinkedIn, you're getting garbage all the time, just deluged with crap. So you've got to stand out, but also follow up outside of the LinkedIn environment.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying this video, and I want to let you know that I have a new book that's come out, and if you'd like to get it absolutely free, there's a link below in the description, or you can wait till the end of this video, or you can simply go to joesfreebook.com and you can get a copy there.
All right, so I'm going to give you the step-by-step what I use. And by the way, I have a companion video that gets into more details. So the first step is using search. Now I have a tool. It's a company I invested in called ClickedIn. So you give it a name. You can pick either a group to target or a specific type of person. If you can see the screen, I focus on CEOs, founders, and owners in the United States who've been active on LinkedIn. And then the next thing that happens is messaging goes out. Now, I'll give you the language, but in this case, what ClickedIn does is it, first of all, makes a custom connection request, and that message says, hey, first name, I wanted to connect with you because you showed up when I searched for SaaS. Now, it turns out I'm focusing right now on business owners who run SaaS or software as service companies, excited to get to know more about you and your company, and then some form of an elevated intro. Now, I've got a sizzle reel narrated by Tony Robbins, but if you have an article about you and your business, something that would make them go, yes, I'm intrigued, okay? That's the connection request. And then as soon as the person accepts the connection, a follow-up message goes out that says, hey, thanks for connecting. I look forward to seeing your content in my feed. And then after checking out your profile, I have an idea for you. And you give them a soft offer, which may sound a little offensive. It's just got to be soft enough. But for mine, and this is how I lead into a relationship, I frequently write for Entrepreneur and Forbes magazine. I'm always looking for businesses like yours and owners who are doing intriguing high impact work. Would this be something you'd be interested in? Just reply and I'll send a video and case studies that explain how I work to see if you're a right fit. And here's a short video about my process, okay? My process is about a 4 to 5 minute video. Now here's where things get more interesting. The tool I'm using, ClickedIn, observes nonstop for a positive response, some kind of a yes response, and it uses IBM Watson, which is trained to look for a reaction. So if the person responds with a positive response, they get a follow-up, okay? If there's a no thank you, it sends a no thank you message and never contacts them again. So my positive response basically says, thanks for getting back to me. I'll follow up in detail as soon as I finish an urgent client project, which is always real. In the meantime, this video will describe how I work and how I can feature you. And in addition to the article, the process can help you launch, relaunch, or reinvent your business. Boom. And I think it will help you. Now, remember at the same time, and by the way, just so you see a little proof of this, this is my current active LinkedIn feed, and you can see people thanking me for connecting with them and telling me how they're going to follow up and respond. And this is a consistent, constant thing that's showing up. And again, they're thanking me for that connection and the fact that it really feels real. Now, if you're familiar with the tool called Zapier, clicked in immediately follows up, and then it adds the lead to a spreadsheet, okay? Zapier is an automation that can talk to practically any software app, and all it does is it adds their contact information, puts it in a little spreadsheet, and this thing literally, the first time I set it up, took about 5 minutes to connect, okay? So, and then it hyper-personalizes. So I'm using another tool called Lemlist that sends out this really personalized coffee cup. So I just went to Starbucks, got some blank cups, and then this thing puts the pictures on there. It also, now that I've actually had the ClickedIn founder modify the software to give me the face and the logo of the prospect. So I'm going to actually put their logo and their face on some pictures. Again, more hyper-personalization. And then the enrollment process. So in my particular case, I have a video that introduces myself, describes who I am, what I do, and how to work together, and send people to fill out an application. Okay, it's simply, in this case, a Survey Monkey or a form. And then after that, I get a deposit. So generally speaking, it's a combination of book a quick conversation session, fill out an application, and then leave a deposit. Now, I'm doing a premium deposit of $4,995 because what I'm offering is expensive, and I want to make sure that people are paying attention. But at this point, they're warmed up. Okay? Now I'm going to show you one other option, and this is something I just learned about. It's a data enrichment service that what it does is it will go out and look at the information that I get from LinkedIn, find their contact information, and find their phone numbers, also their home email, and their business email as well. Okay, and I'll give you the name of that in just a moment, but it gives me a lot of extra data, which enables me to reach out and connect with them. Now, in the case of Strategic Coach and some other clients, I'm working and building in and working with 3 companies that offer artificial intelligence and machine learning for doing increased data, including one that gives me access to 339 million contact records in the United States. So here's the summary. Number 1, the key is an ideal client search in LinkedIn. I'm looking for groups. I connect with them. I send them a right fit message. Then I zap, which means I just get that contact information out and add it to a spreadsheet. I hyper-personalize, and then I enroll them. Now, in some cases, the example I showed you here is with video. I'm using a lot of Zoom and a lot of webinars right now, and if I can get these same people to show up for a Zoom, they invest around $40,000 to $50,000 the first time they meet with me. So again, my ask for you and question is this. If I were going to ask you to type into chat right now, what is one sale worth to you? What would your response be? What is that investment worth? And if you had someone who showed up and said, I saw your article and watched your interview in Entrepreneur Magazine, or I connected with you on LinkedIn, I want to work with you. When can we get started? Okay, I'm seeing a lot of 25Ks. So what are the tools I'm using? ClickedIn.io, and I'll give you a link so you can get a trial to the software. Full disclosure, I invested in the company that does the LinkedIn automation. Zapier connects everything. It's super cheap, like 10 to 15 bucks a month. Lemlist, which does the hyper-personalized emails, it's around $30 a month. And dropcontact.io does data enrichment for less than a penny a person. Again, I'm going to give you access to this entire thing. That's a link to get the ClickedIn trial. Again, I just dropped that in. I'm going to give you a follow-up. So if you would like this PDF, and I'll get it to Joe as well for follow-up, but if you want it, just send an email to vip@paidforlife.com with the subject. Actually, it can just be genius, not hyper-personalized. That's actually a little boo-boo. I'm going to fix that right now. Boop.
At paid.
There we go. It's genius. All right. Dumb thing. Genius. There it is. Put the subject line genius because I set up a little autoresponder. It'll send you the link to an intense video step by step that will enable you to show you exactly how I hooked all these things up with all the software and I'm operating them and the PDF. So I hope I finished this all inside of the miraculous 10 minutes, and I'm here to answer any questions you have in the meantime. So, Joe, what you got? If you have any questions, go ahead and fire away.
Well, I'm gonna let the audience ask some questions. We'll do that for a few minutes and just do some Q&A with everyone.
Great.
I got a quick question for you, Mike. It's super cool. How do you did the export from LinkedIn through Zapier to a Google Sheet?
Yes.
Is that a zap between LinkedIn and a Google Sheet, or between ClickedIn and a Google Sheet?
Between ClickedIn and a Google Sheet. So, so full disclosure, LinkedIn hates automation. They don't like any of it. ClickedIn operates and acts like an artificial human. It works during business hours from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. your time. It actually models and uses a private VPN that's based on and looks like your IP address, and it doesn't do anything that LinkedIn doesn't allow. In fact, it's 15% less than what's allowed on the platform. So it's impossible to detect. It doesn't do anything wrong, and it acts like a real human, except it always shows up and behaves. So it does the searching, the connecting, and then when someone accepts your connection, it connects either to Zapier, Salesforce, or HubSpot, or you can export the entire list as a CSV or Facebook audience. But in my case, I use Zapier because it's instantaneous, and because the connection happens the moment or within a couple minutes after they accept the connection. Imagine getting a hyper-personalized email. That's actually what makes this whole thing work, is the hyper-personalization and the speed.
Very cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Awesome. So Rory's going to actually give a talk tomorrow, which will be great too. So thank you.
And
all right,
then,
who else?
Robert had a question. I'll answer this. Is it possible to target a predetermined list with ClickedIn? So yes. So what you can do, for example, whenever I attend an event, I have my assistant go out and log into their apps and find people and follow them. So you can import a CSV list, and then it will automatically introduce yourself and ask to create a connection on LinkedIn. And you can, again, do the same exact automation. Okay. And John wants to know if he could get the see and get the message copy that I use. The answer is yes. If you send your message to me, I will export my message sequence for you so you receive that as well, which really is the gold here. It's a value sequence. My first introduction is, hey, nice to meet you. Here's some cool stuff you can use. And then I soft sell, and eventually I warm them up to wanting to work together. Mm-hmm.
And by the way, let me mention this right now, Mike, because one of the things that we have, and then people like you that are, always violating this sort of thing, is during the midst of doing the talk, you're not supposed to be taking everyone's contact info by directing them somewhere and then having people email you and then pilfering my list. But since I've known you for so long,
I'm sorry about that. Shoot.
No.
I want to make it easy because I knew I was going to get deluged, but yes, I did break the rule. Yeah, I didn't even think about it.
No, but what I want to say, because Mike's been in Genius Network for over a decade, right? So you're one of the OGs of all this sort of thing. I do want to mention that, though. So if people give a 10-minute talk, they don't always think, because one of the things we actually put in there is don't give outside thing to do that. Because there are many people, I clearly know you're not going to be pitching everybody on stuff. There are some people, though, that have actually done that in a very weird way. And since we got so many people on, I want people to know that are giving 10-minute talks not to do that sort of thing. It's one of the things that we put in there. That being said, it's hard for me on an iPad to, you know, what's funny? This has actually shown how much easier it is to do a Zoom meeting with 100 and something people on it on a computer than it is on an iPad or a phone. So I will just keep letting people ask the questions versus me trying to look at the chat here.
Yeah. So Steven asked, can we ask for credit card numbers? He's trying to be funny. I get it. Okay. Craig says, I'm using my call center, my manpower to do something like this in between calls, like having 100 people use a process like this to create leads. So here's the deal. You can actually set this up for sales teams. So if you had 10 salespeople, and frankly, we're doing a variation of this with Strategic Coach. So you can actually have all of your salespeople have their own LinkedIn accounts. It does mean they have to be set up right, because you're allowed to do about 100 connection requests a day. Clicked in actually allows 90 requests. In my experience, I'm getting a 30 to 50% acceptance rate. So that means on average, I get around 30 to 40 leads a day using this model, all of which are just being added to the spreadsheet in real time. And of course the messaging. And now I actually have a phone sales guy who's warming people up and loving them based upon the text responses. Because the number one thing people want to know is, how in the hell are you doing this, and can I do it too? So I always like to say, use the tool to sell the tool whenever you're doing something like this. And that's really what gets people hot, and just being open about it and providing videos and content. You know, if you can live what you're doing and share it, and focus on the hyper premium audience, that's where I think it's the best place to focus your business activities now. Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, so anything else you didn't cover, or anything you want to?
Yeah, here's something I've experimented with during COVID, especially. And I think that the days of dematerializing, digitizing, and virtualizing are absolutely here now, more than ever before. And there we go. Someone turned on their audio. That's nice. And what I have found is I've been making webinar offers and Zoom meeting offers for $40,000 and $50,000, and people are enrolling. And so there's lots of people with plenty of money out there. And what happened is we evolved as a culture and as business owners to the extent now where this is normal. And so do not be a sissy. It's go out there and present premium offers, and don't think for a second that people expect or require face-to-face interactions anymore. What I will tell you is I absolutely refuse to have phone relationships with any business people now. I only do Zoom, or Skype, but it's, if you don't own the face and the fingers and the voice, you're talking to a distracted human. And so if they initiate that way or don't show up, I give them one chance and one chance only, and beyond that is no. So I'd say the more you craft and create a professional container and create and demand respect, and that people show up, you'll receive it. And work with people who have adjusted to this, and most have. And I can also speak to, with Strategic Coach, they've had, as far as I know, no one left. Okay, just like you, Joe. I mean, no one's bothered by this virtualized experience. We just still want physical, but the world just got bigger. It got a lot bigger, not smaller, as a result of what's going on. And so take advantage of it.
Yeah, great. As always, Mike, super, super valuable, super useful.
Okay, I hope you found that video awesome and useful. So if you want to get a free copy of my book, I want you to click here. And if you want to watch some more videos that'll be useful and awesome, click here. Go ahead. You're over here. Do it now. Come on. Thank you. Watch them.